Get Sagicor School Companion Health Plan for as little as $2,540 per month. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
Coming up in the news at 7, PNP confirms candidates as another election cycle nears. Government warns against use of chemical found in magic mushrooms. Firefighter dies in St. Catherine crash Friday night. And in sport, defending Manning Cup champions Mona High open with big win. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7, the weekend edition. Welcome. It's Saturday, September 7. I'm TK Dawkins. The People's National Party is in the process of completing its candidate list for the next general election. Its lineup spans various constituencies with prominent figures poised to bring energy to the party. Here's the latest.
The People's National Party has confirmed several candidates for the country's next general election. Among the list of names touted is Spanish Town's Mayor Norman Scott for South East St. Elizabeth and Andre Hilton for East Portland. The PNP's Deputy General Secretary, Nikisha Burchell, told CVM News the party is simply informing the country of its readiness.
Dr. Dayton Campbell has been given the country periodic updates on the status of our preparedness for general elections, and that includes the confirmation of our candidates up to the last NEC we had. He had advised the country that we were 98% ready with our candidate selections for most seats.
Adding that the initial candidate for Southeast St. Mary has withdrawn, but a replacement is being prepared.
There have been some changes in the Southeast St. Mary seat. The candidate we had in place has withdrawn his candidacy, and therefore we have a new candidate that's going through the process now to be accepted by the constituency. The same occurs for maybe another one or two constituencies.
She reiterates that the People's National Party will not be participating in the upcoming by-election for Northeast St. Anne after the Jamaica Labour Party's Marsha Smith's sudden resignation. Burchell says the party stands firmly on its decision.
The party, through our General Secretary, we've been clear and consistent that we expect that a general election should be called to give Jamaicans an opportunity to recall this government. They've overstayed their welcome based on the indications we've received from the ground, and the people are just rearing for an opportunity to fairly and democratically recall them and to elect a government that they trust, a government that is not marred with the level of corruption this government has been marred with, and a government that will deliver on the promise of people power.
Meanwhile, former Northern Clarendon MP and former acting PNP chairman Horace Daly endorsed former West Indies international cricketer Wavell Hines for the North Clarendon constituency.
We are here, Isaac, Russell, all the warriors who had come here come see. And I stayed with you for almost 30 years. I'm asking you to give full support to Comrade Wavell Hines and let us stay home.
The PNP's full list of candidates will be announced at the party's upcoming 86th annual national conference on Sunday, September 15 at the National Arena in Kingston. Angela Melville, CVM News.
The opposition People's National Party is voicing concern about the state of the finance sector now that Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke will be demitting office for the International Monetary Fund. Opposition spokesperson on finance Julian Robinson says economic and social challenges will persist for the new minister unless policy changes are made. Courtney Lewis reports.
The People's National Party is criticizing the government's management of funds.
The concerns comes after a week of the announcement that Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark will be leaving office. Opposition spokesperson on finance Julian Robinson says his replacement will be dealing with a declining economy.
The BOJ project that the economy is going to decline for this quarter because of Hurricane Beryl. But even before the decline, the rate of economic growth was slowing and declining for the last 9 quarters. For the last fiscal year, we missed our revenue targets. Missed it. And we're going to miss them again this year. That is what the incoming going to have to do.
He claims the minister has not been transparent about the country's finances, particularly the issues of a promised multi-billion-dollar inflow from sold receivables.
So the government has sold this to some private company. We don't know which private company. We don't know what process they used to select this private company. And this company is to provide the government with $45 billion. We are 6 months into the financial year, and we can't even get a sentence from the Minister of Finance.
In the same breath, Robinson addressed concerns in education, saying the government is aloof to the issues plaguing the sector.
Just last week, if you're following the news, only 18% of people with the CXC get 5 subjects or more. That is a failing strategy. And when I heard the Prime Minister talk, he talk like him is some analyst far removed. And he has been in charge of the country for the last 9 years, almost 9 years. It is a failure of the government that you can have less than 1/5 of the people who take the exam get 5 subjects.
He argues the redress to a declining economy lies in allocating more funds to education for sustainable development.
And we have outlined how we're going to transform it. You can only transform it from the beginning, which is at the basic school level and the primary school level. And we have to invest more so that when the children leave at 5 and 6, leave basic school to go primary school, them can read and write. Because if you can't do it at that stage, you will never catch up once you go into the primary school system.
He was speaking at another conference in downtown Kingston on Sunday. Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
A man suspected in Tuesday's double murder in Albion, Manchester, was fatally shot by police during a confrontation in the nearby community of Newlands on Saturday morning. Authorities were reportedly pursuing the suspect when the incident occurred. The identity of the suspect has not been released. Detailing the incident, a relative of the suspect urged young people to abstain from a life of crime.
I am living on the premises where it take place. So it's totally was a shootout because when the police arrive on the scene, they come and knock my door. And when them ask, I come out and speak to them and them say to me, no, not me is the one. And them say, next door. And them go by there and by the way, reach at the door, it shot fire in. And them retaliate and there goes. Him get it. Them never hesitate. And they must keep themselves to themselves. Put down badness, it no work. Put down badness. Youth and youth, may beg you to put it down. It no work. It do not work. And here I am now standing, talking on this media to the whole country, the whole world listening and watching. And at this time, my heart is weak.
A firefighter was among 3 people who allegedly died during fatal crashes in St. Catherine between Friday night and Saturday. Dead is 22-year-old Shahini Nelson, a firefighter attached to the Kingston and St. Andrew Fire Brigade. Nelson passed away after a collision with a tractor-trailer in the vicinity of the Angels Toll sometime after 10 Friday night on her way home from work. Reports say the vehicle was crushed and Nelson sustained severe injuries that, despite swift rescue, she could not survive. CVM News understands Nelson was the younger sister of Lorenzo Dowse, another firefighter who was mowed down by a speeding vehicle in St. Anne in 2022. At the time of his death, Nelson was said to be in training school. Relatives say the incident has dealt another piercing blow, with the siblings dying tragically years apart. As most schools reopen their doors and welcome the start of a new academic year of teaching and learning, there's hope that no child will be left behind. But what of those heavily reliant on sales from last-minute preparations for back to school? Well, some vendors in one popular Kingston space are less than excited about their prospects. Here's Nika Lewis with this report.
This is the symphony of a culture that thrives in sections of downtown Kingston, a vending district that many flock to from near and far for supplies, especially for back to school. And although Barry lashed Jamaicans hard, the business of teaching and learning must continue. So too does the business of making a living in an island flooded with informal businesses and vending like this. But what once brought bread and butter as locals ready their young ones for school is seemingly drying up.
Right now, people, so they are Bedford Street, Luke Lane. You see me? They are going to house the door, father.
How the back to school sales going?
Yeah. Back to school sale, my father. Father, I want to tell you the truth. I never know where the money there, where the people have. Nobody now buy nothing. Andrew need to do something, man. Nobody now buy nothing. We broke. Bill could DB money. We have to bust all the hell all of them. We have to sell a Air Force like 7,000. We have to give people them for liquor and nothing. You see me? We have to give them back for a bite from my father. Nothing now go on. Nothing now go on, my father. Nothing now go on. Nothing now go on, my general.
The vendor, who calls himself Ray Crush, bemoans the slow sales, pointing to myriad school supplies and wares still on their varied racks and shelves.
I bag them pin up. People them now buy nothing. Pan shoes over there, so buggy step aside. Shoes that them did I wear around 3-6 years ago go to school. From 7th grade time, hard my father back to school shopping now going with nothing. Go and look around here some jet. The shoes them turn up like a matla. Yeah, my general, shoes never sell my father, hardly I sell. Look for the bag them up there so. Millions of bag is like a bag competition and none now sell. Look around there some my father.
But some vendors are acutely aware of the changing tides around the shopping, and though they tapped into school supplies, they had a more open approach, outwitting their competition.
I'm not cutting it because they're not selling the stuff what the people them need, you understand? We're selling school shoes, we're selling school bag, you understand? Other items and baby school shoes, you understand? What the student them need, you understand? Yes.
I'm not selling it affordable as well?
Yes, we're selling very affordable. So so the kids them can, the mothers can afford it for the kids, you understand?
He's been plying his wares on Beckford Street for over 4 years. He knows too well the art of money getting requires compromise at times.
All right, the price them, listen, because remember, so we have to pay for clearance and the weight, so we have to little bit make the price a little bit go up, you understand? Yes.
The prices are a little bit
more expensive than last year.
And perhaps the saying is true. It's not about the noise in the market, but better yet, the sales. Nika Lewis, CVM News.
The Health and Wellness Ministry is urging members of the public to refrain from using products containing psilocybin or psilocin or constituents of the product. Psilocybin is a hallucinogenic chemical byproduct in certain mushrooms known as magic mushrooms, which when consumed can cause a variety of effects ranging from euphoria, sensory distortion to hallucinations. Nika Lewis reports.
The Health and Wellness Ministry on Friday issued a warning to Jamaicans, many of whom are being drawn to the near magical high obtained from its use. Psilocybin is a substance commonly found in these magic mushrooms. These mushrooms are freely grown in Jamaica, and there is no legislation in place to regulate its growth and harvesting. However, the ministry maintains Jamaica, being a signatory to the 1971 Psychotropic Convention, is required to regulate the chemical as a controlled substance. It means medicinal preparations made from the psilocybin containing mushroom, whether in its natural state or by processing, that are intended for treatment, are consequently and automatically regulated as a drug by the Ministry of Health. But the ministry cautions this drug has not been approved or registered by the Standards and Regulations Division of the ministry, whose core function it is to assess and evaluate food, drugs, cosmetics, and medical devices for the safe use of the public, importation, or trade. The authorities say psilocybin or psilocin has received no such approval or registration and can only be used under clinical control study conditions in Jamaica, which would require supervision by a psychiatrist and ethical approval from the Ministry of Health. Currently, there is no study of this kind which has been approved. The public is cautioned against any use of these products as they may cause deleterious mental health effects. The products can take various forms, but are not limited to chocolates, capsules, and vegan gummies. It also goes by many names, among them shroom, mushies, zoomers, boomers, and little smoke. Some 7.4 million Americans ages 12 and older used hallucinogens, including psilocybin, in 2021. Of this number, adults ages 18 to 25 were the most frequent users. It's, however, unclear just how many Jamaicans are using the products, and aside from alleviating stress and anxiety, their reason for using the magical plant. Nika Lewis, CVM News.
And just ahead of the break, our news team understands 3 people, including a little girl, were today killed following another motor vehicle collision in St. Catherine. The incident occurred along Walks Road, Spanish Town, sometime Saturday afternoon. It's reported that the AD wagon, operating as a taxi, slammed into the back of a truck transporting sand. It's further reported the driver and another adult, who was his passenger, died on the spot, while the little girl reportedly died while undergoing treatment at hospital. Up to late afternoon, firefighters and police were processing and clearing the scene. CVM News at 7 continues in just a moment.
Me, I go show them my way of justice.
I'm abused.
I need legal advice. I don't deserve this.
The truth of the matter is, justice there for all of it. The Ministry of Justice has trained more than 5,600 persons in restorative justice practices. More than 200,000 victims have been supported by the victim services. Legal aid has reached thousands island-wide. Make we talk it out, not fight it out. Call 888 Justice today.
You know my heart goes crazy when you take the lips to time. This is for our love. Will leave the world behind. Can you feel this beat?
It's a schoolboy football, September 7 to December 14 on CVM TV.
Welcome back to CVM News at 7. Let's take a look now at regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has traveled to Haiti to show the United States support for multinational effort to combat gang violence in the Caribbean nation. After landing in the capital Thursday, he met with the interim prime minister and announced a new surge of humanitarian aid. Here's Al Jazeera.
The battle against gangs continues in Haiti as the Haitian National Police and Kenyan security forces try to bring some type of stability to the Caribbean nation. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken landed in the capital Port-au-Prince to try to set up a path forward to secure presidential elections next year.
We've seen the Presidential Council be stood up, the government, the Prime Minister stood up, the arrival of Kenyan colleagues to support the police in this critical security mission. We're starting to see results from that, all with the objective of putting Haiti on a path to elections next year,
Blinken also announced an additional $45 million in aid.
Venezuela's political crisis deepens as opposition leader Maria Corina Machado vows to continue the fight against President Nicolas Maduro. Machado, who is in hiding, warns the U.S. and other democracies that their global influence is at risk if they fail to pressure Maduro out of power. Here again is Al Jazeera.
The arrests in Venezuela continue. The latest include 11 people detained in connection with last week's massive power outage, which the government alleges was an act of sabotage by opponents. An American sailor, allegedly on vacation in Venezuela, is now also under arrest and accused of involvement in a destabilization plan to attack embattled President Nicolas Maduro. But from an undisclosed location, opposition leader Maria Corina Machado insists the government has never been weaker.
We are never going to give up.
Machado, who is in hiding, says she will not seek asylum or leave the country.
And in international news, President William Ruto has declared 3 days of national mourning after a fatal fire at a school in Nyeri. The Education Ministry says 17 students have been confirmed dead up to Friday, while 70 others are unaccounted for. More from the BBC.
The victims were boys between the ages of 9 and 13. They were in the same dorm. 156 boys were in this dorm, and the fire took hold overnight. So they were sleeping, which is why I think we have the number of casualties that we do. Many of them were able to escape. Of course, as you said, 17 children have been confirmed dead, but many were able to escape. Some were injured and have been taken to hospital. And of course, you have the parents coming to the school, trying to find out what happened to their children. The school, of course, being located here in the countryside. We're near it, just a few miles away. And they have been told that the missing children, that's quite a high number who have been unaccounted for, doesn't mean they're necessarily perished, as the deputy president said. It might mean that they had taken refuge at the houses of some of the community members who rushed to try and rescue them and put out the fire alongside the firefighters. Also, you have the possibility that other parents came to the school and picked up their children when they heard about this tragedy. So the government is appealing to both the neighbors and the parents to try to report children, locate where the children are so they can find out what happened to these 70.
That's it for regional and international news. I'm Nika Lewis.
And we're taking a break on CVM News at 7. Inspire Jamaica is next.
Rise and shine and start your day with the Wealthy Club's Power Hour. It's a transformative mind-body workout infused with strength training, yoga, meditation, and journaling. Every Wednesday from 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. Starting September 11th, join us for free live in person right here at the marketplace in front of Camila's Kitchen, or you can join in from anywhere in the world thanks to our friends over at Just Create. And afterwards, refuel with your post-workout breakfast from Camila's Kitchen to truly support your wellness and your fitness goals. Catch us for this special workout hour on CVM TV on Mondays from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. and a repeat at 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Wellfit Wednesdays starting September 11th at 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. right here at the marketplace. See you there.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Welcome back. After a long summer break, all parents were focused on back to school, getting the students off with the least amount of conflict. For this, Inspire Jamaica Curlin Brown zoned in on the variations if the child has a developmental disorder.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
No matter the source from which it flows, naturally or man-made, water is enticing, it's captivating, and it's calming.
Right after summer, the most popular 3 words, back to school. Oh yes, it's time to get those children out of the comfy zone and back into the early mornings and getting ready to go off to where education matters.
Back to school. Jump. All right. Yeah. Come up here.
Lowenfield and Terry and Elaine, parents of 13-year-old Alex Xavier, are among thousands of families brushing off August and welcoming September with mixed emotions.
All right, back to school for us come with some anxiety, I must tell you. First and foremost, he's changing school. He has just finished kindergarten, not kindergarten. Primary level. He has just finished primary level, and we are now going into secondary. So he's changing school. You know, it's a bit of anxiety for us because we don't know what the environment holds.
But that's pretty much the same for anyone dealing with a first, you may say. True. Just that Alex, as they call him, is one of the approximately 700 children born with autism yearly in Jamaica.
You know, autism is a developmental disorder. It affects children in different ways. So one child can be nonverbal, the other may not be. Him being nonverbal, and I still say nonverbal because he's minimally verbal, we're getting a few words out, but we're still working on that. Not yet used to the environment, and he's somebody who he doesn't really adapt quickly to new environment. He tends to have a little anxiety until he's comfortable and wanting to settle down.
For us, especially with a child that's minimally verbal and he has to have a caregiver at all times during school, it's not only just prep for the child, it's prep for the caregiver as well. The person needs to be acclimatized with the environment, understanding his needs and adapting to that environment as well. And understanding too that our child is not going to take the regular academic route, right? He has to have a program that is tailored specifically for him to meet his needs. So it's not only that the program needs to be specialized, but you know, being in a new school, new environment, you know, new faces around, all those sort of things. And autism is a condition that the children typically like routines and familiarity. And while that might be so for, you know, your neurotypical children, it is even heightened when it comes on to a child with autism.
When you go to Inspire Jamaica is crowning the Alaines model parents who, even with the stigma, after experiencing drastic changes in the development of their only child, are sticking it out.
Started out at a daycare that is connected to a kindergarten facility. So the intent was that he would transition from daycare into K1, etc. Because Alex Xavier developed normally up to about 1 year old, little bit post 1, so he would have been counting, would have been saying the alphabet and so on. But then she found that he started to regress, and then there wasn't the eye contact and those sort of things. So having seen those signs, and she indicated to us that, you know, mommy, daddy, something looks like it is off. She didn't put a label on it because she really didn't know what the label was, but she indicated to us that something was off, and she encouraged us to have a discussion with our pediatrician, which is exactly what we did.
From a series of tests with audiologists, developmental pediatrician, and other referrals, More with the Elaines next time. I'm Curlin Brown. Let's continue to inspire Jamaica.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this
Time for another break. Sports is next with Ronaldo Adams.
Crunch your craving with the new KFC Crunchy Box for only $850. KFC, it's finger licking good. The time by KFC is...
You know my heart goes crazy when you take the extra time. Let's explore our love. We'll leave the world behind. Can you feel this beat?
It's a schoolboy football, September 7 to December 14 on CVM TV.
Welcome to Sports. I'm Ronaldo Adams. We begin with news on the Manning Cup. Defending champions Mona produced a superb performance in their opening game against Waterford on Saturday at the Montego Bay Sports Complex in Catherine Hall. 6 different players were on target in the 7-0 win. Carlton Brown opened the floodgates in the 16th minute.
To the jersey to you and the Shakers. Oh, that's a wonderful hit! Magnificent goal! And there was no chance for goalkeeper Daly. Yeah, just flagging that tin ear there. As Zamona coming forward, again, opportunity! Goal! Pretty savvy from Savvy K. Morton, who opens his account this season. Here they come. Mona High, Leighton. Skillful himself, finding Mackenzie. The cut back at the... Oh yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Again, he's in the right place at the right time, ever so often. Twisting, turning. Touched inside well. Oh, lovely stuff. This one is again played inside the air. They're queuing up. They are queuing up. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. It really doesn't matter. 4-0 up now. Ball played out wide. Opportunity again for Kishane Gordon. Trying to get on the score sheet here. And does! It's as you were from last season. From Mona's number 7. He didn't need a lot of time to warm up in this Manning Cup. He opens his account against Waterford High. It's 6-0 for Mona. Mona again coming forward. Mackenzie on his left. Mackenzie!
Definitely a statement win. Definitely the foundation is there, but we're still in second gear. We still have a lot we can improve on. We could have won around 10 easily, but as I say, the foundation is there and we want to build on.
Honestly, it's a disappointed start for us, but experience got the better of these guys today. But nevertheless, you know, I believe they learned something today, and I believe the best team won today. So we just have to get back in training, put in some more work, and hopefully we will have a better second game.
And on the national scene, Jamaica were held to a 0-0 draw by 10-man Cuba in their Group B, League A, CONCACAF Nations League fixture on Friday at the National Stadium. The Reggae Boys dominated the encounter, getting off 21 shots and 7 on target, while the Cubans failed to get 1 shot on target. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
4 inside the 18, back post header, it goes off of Woodward. Possession, Antonio toe tapping, right hand side of Rosa Reyna comes up. Takeaway here just outside the 18. We're gonna have a foul being called, and we'll see where our lead official points at, if anything. Yeah, that should go as red. Cuba holding on for dear life and down a player. Second half has officially begun. No